or eschaton has been part of the belief systems of such diverse cultures as the Mayan Indians and Judeo-Christians, and many, many others, of course. Almost without exception, the eschaton is predicted to be a cataclysm sufficient to destroy all life on Earth. Until recently, we could not imagine an event so devastating as to make life on Earth impossible. Because we now live in such an unstable and interdependent world, the so-called global village, disruption in one part literally reverberates around the world within a few hours. For example, the Gulf War and what happened with the price of oil. You know, within 48 hours, the price of oil almost doubled. Linked by modern telecommunications, we can anticipate and witness firsthand events that are taking place on a real-time basis. This is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing in the sense that we can be forewarned of natural disasters, a hurricane or earthquake, for example, but a curse in the other sense that if the system is ever faced with a global catastrophic event, it could easily send the world into instantaneous panic and anarchy. And this is what the national security establishment is very concerned about. The NSE has been interested in prophecy and eschatology since its formation in the 1940s. Due to advancements in intelligence methods, it is now possible, and listen to this carefully, it is now possible to generally predict war, economic dislocations, earth and climate changes, and disasters based on a new branch of science called catastrophe or chaos theory. So what happened in what I call the pivotal years, 1988, 1989? Of course, at that time, George Bush was president. This just preceded the Gulf War, which I think was a test of the New World Order's iron fist with a velvet glove, and they took off the velvet glove and clobbered Mr. Hussein with the iron fist. But what happened during that period of time? Well, several things happened. We had the fall of the Berlin Wall. Everybody knows about that. Supposedly the back of communism was broken. But behind the scenes, a lot more went on. In terms of the secret societies, we had a peace or an alliance between two groups that had been opposed for hundreds of years: French Freemasonry and British Freemasonry. French Freemasonry representing the communist model or the socialist model, and British Freemasonry representing capitalism or free trade, what we know as free trade. This is the seal of the Queen of England. It is also alleged to be the seal of British Freemasonry, or is used in many places of British Freemasonry. And as you can see, there's a lot of symbolism here. You have a lion on the left side, a unicorn on the right side, sort of a shield in the middle with a lot of different symbols, more lions, and almost something that looks like a harp, and something, I'm not sure what this translates into, but it looks like Latin. And then a helmet, a crown, and another lion. Let me suggest to you all that symbology is extremely important within the secret societies. And you will see these symbols pop up in the darndest places. Now, I'm not going to tell you where I've seen this before, but if you pay attention, you'll see it. And again, all I can say is these things pop up in the strangest places. So just pay attention to symbology. After we had the alliance of French Freemasonry and British Freemasonry, we had the formation of the Fourth Reich. This is also known as the Aryan or Hittite rule based on the Holy Roman Empire. And you can always tell the Reichs because they use the same standard. And what I mean by a standard, you've heard, if you've watched some of these old movies, and the Roman legions are walking around and they have these tall poles that looks like totem poles, and they have these different symbols on them, and usually at the top you'll see an eagle. Well, anything that's associated with the Reich, which is just a manifestation or an appendage of the Holy Roman Empire, will have the eagle. What is our national symbol? The eagle. Same with the Nazi regime. After the collapse of the Third Reich, which they honestly believed was going to be the final Reich, but a lot of things went wrong, mainly many of the Jewish intellectuals defected out of the country, and we got the bomb first. And then there's always that proverbial question, what if Hitler had gotten the bomb first? We would probably be living right now in the New World Order. But that's yet to come. But anyway, things didn't go quite right, and the Germans, or the Nazis, lost the war. But an interesting thing happened after the war. We didn't just say, okay, Germany, go your own way. We divided up the country between the Russians and the Allied powers, the French, Americans, and the British. There were about 7,000 very intelligent industrialists, financiers, scientists, academicians, doctors, a whole lot of people that participated in many of the atrocities in Nazi Germany. And basically we gave them a choice. We said, you can either come to the United States and work for us, or we'll just send you over to Stalin. And the best thing that could happen under Stalin would be they would be sent to a Siberian labor camp, or they would be sent to a gulag. At worst, they would be beheaded or tortured. So what would you do? They all came over here. They came over under a project known as Paperclip. And Paperclip is well documented, well known. In essence, what they did is they combined our World War II intelligence service, the OSS, with Nazi intelligence, principally the Gehlen Society, to form the CIA. So that's the genesis of our major intelligence agency, a hybrid of our own SS and Nazi intelligence. This led to many offspring, as I mentioned before, the NSA, Office of Naval Intelligence, Army, G2, many organizations. They're collectively known as the cryptocracy. Crypto meaning hidden or very difficult to understand or coded. And that's very much like the secret societies, the Illuminati work. They work in codes. In fact, most of the intelligence agencies only recruit from the secret societies. If your father was a Mason, or you were a DeMolay, or you belonged to the Skull and Bones like George Bush did, you're in. If you were just, average Joe Blow out there, forget it. You're not going to get in. Because much of what these people are involved in borders or downright is involved in occultism. But it's gotten very sophisticated.